Africa's countless species have evolved into endless shapes, colors, and sizes. Each with its own solution to the most basic problems of life. The drive to reproduce is one of the most primal forces in nature. And here in Zambia's Luangwa Valley, each species has its own strategy to find a mate. From mass emergence to going it alone, Lothario lions to sneaky baboons. Each animal strives to achieve one goal: to pass on their genes to the next generation. There are an estimated 8.7 million species on Earth. Across this crowded continent, a wide variety of strategies have evolved to help species find their mate. For one animal, being big is the best strategy. This male Nile crocodile could grow to over 7 meters in length. His size and power give him the best chance of finding a mate. This is his patch of the river. He guards a harem of up to 10 females. He's polygamous, meaning he'll mate with multiple partners. Nile crocodiles mate in the dry season when water levels are at their lowest. The exposed sandbanks provide the perfect habitat for a female to lay her eggs. A rival male is trying to mate with one of his harem. He'll have to show the interloper this is his part of the river. Even his rival's armor-like skin won't protect him. A Nile crocodile can bite down with nearly half a ton of force per square centimeter. Better to run and live to fight another day. He'll chase any rival out of his territory, protecting his breeding rights. In the mating season, males become hyper-aggressive and extremely territorial. But holding his own is only half the battle. If he wants to mate, he'll have to show the females his gentler side. Approaching slowly, he begins a carefully choreographed courtship dance. Vibrating the air in his lungs, he produces a low-frequency hum. It's so powerful, it causes the water on his back to dance. Below the surface, the vibrations send a clear message of his intentions. The female's exposed neck signals her acceptance. She can store his sperm for up to 5 months, only using it to fertilize her eggs when conditions to lay are perfect. She'll guard the nest until they hatch in 90 days and protect the hatchlings until they're 2 years old. Even so, only 1% will make it to adulthood. male crocodiles often have nothing to do with the raising of their young. He's too busy chasing other females. But when both parents have to invest equally into caring for their offspring, it pays to be faithful. For birds, this is often essential for a chick to survive. And as a result, 90% of all bird species are monogamous. For some, this loyalty lasts only as long as the breeding season. But for grey-crowned cranes, it lasts a lifetime. Every year, towards the end of the dry season, up to 400 come together in South Luangwa National Park, the largest gathering in Zambia. They've spent the winter months spread out through the valley, feeding in small groups. This pair has come to reinforce their bonds before the breeding season arrives. They do this by dancing. They dance year-round, but in October, it's at its peak. It's an integral part of courtship, helping to get the pair in sync to breed in a month's time. They could be together for 19 years. Working as a pair, they'll raise up to 4 chicks and give them the best start in life. It'll take up to 100 days for the chicks to become independent and 3 years until the juveniles are ready to breed. Crowned cranes have their whole lives together to reproduce. And in that time, they could raise up to 70 chicks. In contrast, a bull hippo in Luangwa may only have a single season in its lifetime in which to mate. Elsewhere in Africa, this beachmaster could stay on top for up to 8 years. But the Luangwa River has the highest density of hippos in the world. Pods can be up to 300 strong, and challengers looking to take his place can arrive daily. With so much competition, his reign may only last a matter of months. The pressure to mate is on, and being the biggest, baddest bull in the river is his only chance of reproducing. He's in charge of this 100-meter stretch, the only male here allowed to mate. Fights to defend his territory and breeding rights are intense. Injuries common. One wrong move could cost him his life. Protecting his pod is exhausting, but it's worth it. Every opportunity to mate counts. He regularly patrols, checking to see if any females have come into estrus. He'll spend almost an hour every day mating. Hippo reproduction requires a little bit of maneuvering, a nice patch of water, and a deep breath from the female. Finding a mate isn't just up to him. She has a say in the matter too. Each sex has different motives. He wants to have as many offspring as possible. She wants to give each of her young the best chance in life by choosing the strongest, healthiest male the Beachmaster. For a puku ram, just being tough isn't enough. Females have the final say on who gets to mate. And while she may choose a mate based on the caliber of his territory, being beautiful doesn't hurt. The black marks on this male's neck have caught her attention. These greasy secretions come from glands next to the male's eyes. The stains accentuate the muscles in his neck. Like a badge of quality, it shows he has genes worth sharing. The darker the patch, the sexier the ram. Tapping with his foreleg, he checks to see if she's receptive to his charms. Apparently, he's got what she's looking for. If she sticks around, he'll try to mate again. He just needs 10 to 15 minutes first. Pukus are sexually dimorphic, meaning males and females look different. In males, the dark patch, thick muscular neck, and horns act as signals, showing his health and strength. These signs help the females choose a mate with the best genes. But they also act as warnings to rival males, signaling who's the better ram before they risk coming to blows. Avoiding conflict is key. If you die before you find a mate, your genes die with you. For elephants, the strongest land animal on Earth, a serious fight can be catastrophic. To avoid conflict, male elephants have a strict dominance hierarchy. This young bull spends much of his time alone. But when he does meet up with other males, it's important he knows where he stands. Elephants can cover over 80 kilometers a day in search of food and water. With female herds ranging so widely, it doesn't make sense for a male to hold a fixed territory. Instead, he roams the vast African savanna, searching for a possible mate. His trunk guides him. He can pinpoint the direction of a scent by varying his trunk's position in the air. He has almost 2,000 genes dedicated to smell alone, over twice as many as a bloodhound. Somewhere ahead, there's a cow in heat. A chance to mate. But another bull has also picked up the scent. He approaches the new bull, sizing him up. Only one can mate. The newcomer on the right seems larger, but they'll have to decide who's more dominant. They push against each other, taking measure of their build and tusks. The young bull grapples and pushes down with his trunk, trying to be the tallest. The bigger and older bull shoves back. He's too powerful, and the young bull knows it. There's no need for this to turn into a serious fight. The older bull will claim the higher rank and the mating rights that go with his status. The young bull has no choice but to move on. But the older he gets, the bigger he'll become, until one day, maybe, he could be at the top of the pecking order. For now, he'll have to search for a mate elsewhere. In species with such mobile lifestyles, females spread out across the savannah. If he wants to find a mate, it'll pay to keep moving. Other giants endlessly wander the savannah. This bull giraffe plans his daily movements around the local ladies. But his sense of smell is much weaker than an elephant's. To find his mate, he needs to get up close and personal. He walks slowly from herd to herd, checking to see if any females are ready to mate. Using special receptors in the roof of his mouth, known as the vomeronasal organ, he tastes her urine. Inhaling, he sucks air over the organ. It allows him to detect the pheromones, which show she's in heat. He's in luck. She's close. Now, he just has to be patient. He'll follow her until she's ready to mate. It could take days. Shadowing her constantly, his presence prevents other males from attempting to mate with her. She only has a 4-day window when she's fertile. So he tests her reproductive status 3 times more often than if she wasn't in heat. At last, she's ready. Positioning himself closely behind her, he begins his mating attempt. Females will rarely stay still. It's no surprise, he can be double her weight. Even successful mating attempts normally happen on the move. After all that, he lasts less than 2 seconds. One of the few things a giraffe does quickly. The hustle and bustle of bird life in the valley is a sure sign of the approach of the breeding season for many species. For marabou storks, it's already here. They usually pair for life, and this young male has come to find a mate. He's only 4 years old. It's his first breeding season, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's not quite as graceful as his crane cousins, or as attractive. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. With the prospect of finding a mate on the cards, he should probably fix himself up. He's going to have to impress if he wants to find a special someone. Next on the agenda, a stick to woo a mate with. It's a romantic gesture. Male storks present prospective partners with nest-building material. A female's caught his eye. But she's not interested. His inexperience is showing through. When you have a 35-centimetre beak, picking up a twig isn't as simple as it seems. He's still got some learning to do. But there are plenty of other females to practice on. If he can keep his stick from his rivals. Finding a mate for life is a big decision. You need to really click. It's best not to rush these things. And there's always tomorrow. This male baboon has spent the night sleeping in an ebony tree on the edge of the Luangwa River. It's kept him safe from predators, but now it's time for him to move out to the plains to feed and socialize. He's part of a huge mixed-sex troop with over 70 baboons. Monogamy is definitely not for them. Males and females can both have multiple partners. It's a promiscuous mating system. Yet whom he can mate with is dictated by a complex hierarchy. Higher-ranked baboons have access to better quality mates. The better the fighter, the higher the rank. So far, he's not doing so well. An alpha female has attracted his attention. Her swelling advertises she's in estrus and ready to mate. Mating with an alpha female would give his offspring the best start in life. She's at her most fertile and looking for a consort. But she has preferred partners. A high-ranking, dominant male follows her, shepherding her away from the competition. The onlooker's low rank means he can't take this alpha male on alone. Luckily, he won't have to. He's got a secret strategy, a loophole to beat the system. He forms a coalition with 2 other low-ranking males. It will give him the strength he needs to steal her. The dominant male can sense trouble brewing. Working together, the coalition of 3 rushes the alpha. The alpha's on the retreat. The low-ranking male's strategy worked. With the help of the 2 other baboons, he's forced the alpha off the female. But after all that, he's missed his chance to mate. His temporary ally has snuck in at the last moment. Some team player he turned out to be. Still, it's a coalition that might prove useful in the future. Cooperation between low-ranking baboons allows them to take on alpha males with a low chance of injury. It gives each of them a better chance of reproducing, but it's no guarantee. If he continues to team up, hopefully he'll get his chance to mate soon enough. Cooperation allows many animals to be more successful than if they tried to go it alone. Further down the Luangwa River, these two brothers have joined forces. Unlike the baboons, these male lions will form a coalition that is likely to last a lifetime. They're still young, with small manes, but they already have a pride of their own. Here in the Luangwa Valley, a high density of lions means competition is right on their doorstep. They'll have to work together to protect their mates from other coalitions. If they lose the pride, new unrelated males will move in and kill any cubs they might have, bringing the mothers back into estrus so they can mate. Patrolling their territory, they send clear messages to would-be rivals. Urinating and scraping spreads their scent. Their roars travel 8 kilometers across the valley, letting their rivals know they're in charge here. The brothers could be on top for years, or just a few months, so they have to mate as much and as quickly as possible. One of their lionesses has separated from the pride. She's known to local scientists and wears a radio collar. The males can sense she's in heat. Although she's ready to mate, she hasn't released an egg to be fertilized. Like all cats, lions have to induce ovulation through mating. The dominant male takes the lead, while his brother waits nearby. As he mates, barbs on his penis stimulate the production of hormones in the lioness. It's a painful process. But these are the hormones needed to release her eggs. She'll be in estrus for 4 days. Staying close, he'll try to mate with her every 15 minutes. He could mate over 150 times in the coming days. The more he mates, the higher her hormones surge, and the bigger the chance of ovulation. He tries his best to ensure fertilization. Until he gets too tired. Then, his brother can step in. Working together gives them the best chance of protecting their territory. And by forming a coalition, the brothers can keep their pride intact and their cubs alive. At the height of the dry season, the valley's rivers run dry. White-fronted bee-eaters take advantage of the exposed banks, excavating large colonies of as many as 200 birds. Each colony can contain up to 20 different family lines. In these groups, only a few of the older pairs will breed. Raising a chick here is extremely hard, and breeding pairs need all the help they can get. They can have clutches of up to 5 eggs, but they'll be lucky if just one chick manages to leave the nest alive. This is one of last year's brood. She's decided to stay with her parents even though she's ready to breed. White fronts are patrilocal, meaning males stay within their family group. She, on the other hand, could join another family in the colony and have offspring of her own. But when it's so difficult to raise chicks, sometimes it makes more sense to stick around and help her parents. Her mother spends nearly all day in the nest looking after the new chicks. If she stays, she can help double each chick's chance of survival by provisioning food, helping with incubation, and defending their nest from predators. The more helpers there are to assist a breeding pair, the more chicks are likely to fledge. She may have given up her chance to breed this year, but by helping her parents rear her siblings, she can pass on her genes through them. She shares on average 50% of her genes with any of her full siblings, the same degree of relatedness she'd have with her own offspring. Sometimes you don't need to find a mate at all to pass on your genes. Not all the species in Luangwa are as social as the bee-eaters. This male slender mongoose spends most of his time alone. His territory is near a cracked lagoon, the perfect place to find food. But that's not why he's here today. His territory also holds that of several females. Unlike the white fronts, he won't cooperate with another of his own species unless it's to reproduce. He patrols between the females' territories, checking to see who's in heat. He's in luck today. This female's ready to mate. He'll follow her while she's in estrus, which could last more than a week. Every time she stops, he'll attempt to mate. When she comes out of estrus, he'll return to doing the rounds and start searching for another partner. He'll try to sow his oats year-round, but she knows better. She can have up to 2 litters a year and has been waiting to time them perfectly. In around 60 days, when her pups are born, the Luangwa Valley will be a very different place. By November, the first rains arrive. Rain acts like a trigger. Increasing humidity sparks the production of thousands of winged males and females deep inside the termite colonies that dot the Luangwa's landscape. As the sun sets, winged termites that have never seen the light of day emerge in their millions. Their nuptial flight. Virgin kings and queens fly from the only home they've ever known to find a mate. They're all related, so they disperse to find termites from other colonies. A strategy to mix up the gene pool. All colonies synchronize this emergence with the rains, giving the breeders the best chance to find a mate. Once they've found termites from a different colony, they drop to the ground and shed their wings. By releasing pheromones from her abdomen, this female signals for a mate. A nearby male is drawn to her. He chases her, stroking her abdomen with his antennae. It's thought he could be checking to see if they're related. A behavior known as tandem running. Once he's sure they aren't relatives, she leads the search for a nesting site. Once found, the pair will cement themselves in. The start of a new colony. Only then will they mate. They'll never come to the surface again. The chance of successfully founding a colony is low, but with so many termites pairing up, some of them will succeed. For termites, it's all about numbers. With the arrival of the wet season, the Luangwa Valley undergoes an incredible change. Species that have their offspring now, when food is at its most plentiful, will give their young the best chance of survival. For these seasonal breeders, finding a mate is all about timing. For this male masked weaver, the mating season is in full swing. He joins other males over the recently filled lagoons. He's polygynous, meaning he'll mate with multiple females, a strategy only seen in 2% of all bird species. He's already built multiple nests. He'll use them to try and seduce as many females as he can. He could mate with up to 12 this season, and they could have almost 50 eggs. First, he'll have to prove he's better than the competition. His black mask and brightly coloured feathers are temporary. Breeding plumage to show he's fit and healthy. But he won't just be judged on how he looks. The colony acts as an arena, a place for him to compete with other males, displaying for a female's attention. A strategy known as lekking. With food everywhere, it's impossible for him to defend a territory, even though it brings him into direct competition with other males. It's better to join forces and get the females to come to them. Flapping and swaying, he attracts a female's attention to his nests. She inspects his neighbour's nest first. Luckily, it's not up to scratch. He's going to have to put his back and wings into it if he wants her to notice him. She checks another neighbor. Another rejection. Finally, acceptance. He's succeeded in finding a mate. Now, he just has to find 10 more. In the Luangwa Valley, during the wet season, it rains almost every other day. A recent downpour has made millipedes extremely active. It's the best time for this male to search for a mate. But with only rudimentary eyes, he must sense his way across soil using his antennae. It's thought that each female leaves a chemical trail for males to follow. To make sure he can catch up, he moves 1.5 times faster than her. He may have her in his grasp, but she won't mate willingly. He has to fight to uncoil her. Her unwillingness is a test. If he's strong enough to overpower her, he's fit enough to father her offspring. He's managed to win her over. Using specialized legs known as gonopods, he opens the segment where her genitals are found and turns his own reproductive organs inside out. Pushing them inside allows the transfer of his sperm to her. He will go on to find more mates, while she will look for a place to lay her eggs. For seasonal breeders, waiting for the rains before mating is essential. Without the moisture they bring, the soil would be too hard for this millipede to build her nest. Luangwa's once barren plains are now carpeted by meter-high grass, the zebra's favorite food. It's the perfect time to breed. 85% of all foals are born in the wet season. With a year-long gestation, the majority of mating happens now. This stallion holds a harem of 6 breeding females and their offspring. He abducted each one when they were just young fillies, and they'll stay with him until he's too weak to defend them. He's only 10 years old and still in his prime, but he could live another decade. Under his watchful eyes, his mares can spend more time grazing and concentrate on raising their offspring. In return, he is the only one they will mate with. But that won't stop a young bachelor from trying. This bachelor hasn't got a harem yet. Mating with the older stallion's mares is his best opportunity to reproduce. If the bachelor manages to mate with an already pregnant mare, she'll involuntarily abort her unborn foal. That's a chance the stallion's not willing to take. tears at his opponent's neck. But the younger male isn't backing down. They seem evenly matched. The stallion proves too much for the bachelor. His age and experience win out. He's protected his harem from the younger rival and maintained his breeding rights. But there will always be competition on the horizon when it comes to finding a mate. Sex is just a moment. But across the animal kingdom, it drives and dictates how any given species will behave for most of its life. For these animals, passing on their genes is everything. If they live their entire life without achieving this, then all is for nothing. These countless strategies mean the fight for the right to mate can be both deadly and beautiful. But if it's so dangerous and takes so much effort, why reproduce sexually in the first place? The answer is diversity. The mixing of genes leads to variation. Over time, these are the changes that could help a species survive any challenges the future might hold.